Hello and welcome to this video where we will be talking about how to create a trigger using MySQL. A trigger is an event or an action that is being carried out automatically as a consequence of another event being carried out. We create these triggers in order to save some time and to let MySQL automatically perform these tasks that would have taken us unnecessary time to do ourselves. Let's have a look at a basic trigger form. The delimiter is kind of our container for the whole trigger. We write delimiter and then have two $signs. You could use a slash, but I like the $sign. You have delimiter $, and then you have $, at the end. Writing create trigger is what actually creates our trigger. That's our trigger word, so to speak. And then you have the trigger name. Now you could write anything here. It would be good to write something that refers to what you're actually doing with the trigger. So you could write trigger name and maybe add an A or a B just to know that if it's a before trigger or an after trigger. And let's quickly just type out everything in between, and then I'll go through it in a bit. TriggerTime specifies the time in which the trigger can be fired. It could either be fired before or after the event that triggers the trigger. Our trigger event is, logically enough, the event that triggers the trigger. So in our case it could be update, it can be insert, or it could be delete. The table name is basically just the name of the table that we wish to affect with our trigger. For each row tells the MySQL program that you would like to make a trigger that affects the whole row. Begin and end. It's in between here that you put the query or the statement that you want to be fired. Okay, so let's create a trigger. For this video, I would like to create a trigger that logs movies in a separate table before they're being deleted from the movie table. So let's start off with our basic skeleton, as so to speak. We will name the trigger movie delete before trigger. Quite clever, I thought. Then we write before on the trigger time. The trigger event is delete. On table name is movie for each row, and in between here is where the magic happens. This is where we put our insert into, and I made a table called old movie, so we're going to insert into old movie, and then we put all of the values from the movie table, and we basically just put it into the old movie table. Let's just speed it up. There we go. Now we have our trigger. This is what it looks like, and it compiled, so to speak. Cool. Let's see if it works. First, let's just have a look at the movie table. Here we go. You can see that altogether there are 29 movies here. And in our old movie table, there are no values yet. Let's see what happens when we delete a row from our movie table. We're just going to delete the ones that I called test and test1, just to make sure. So delete from movie where movie ID equals M028. First, just to check. So let's delete that from our movie table. There we go. Let's see if it is now in our old movie table. There it is. Test. Duration minute 89. I just made all of that up. But it worked! Yay! Let's try with 29 as well to see if that works. And yay! It did! Cool, so now both our test and test 1 movies are in our old movie table. They're gone from the movie table. Thank you for watching. Have a lovely day.